Hello, welcome back. So today's podcast episode is going to be a little bit different, okay? I'm not going to be doing any makeup today. This is probably not going to be edited. I don't know, we'll see. There's something that's been on my mind the past few days, and I just wanted to have a little bit of a discussion with you guys. As I say, if you've never seen my face before, hello, my name's Anna. Welcome to Playing in Politics. Normally how this works with my long form content is that I talk about politics, talk about current affairs, stuff that's happening, and I do my makeup at the same time. However, today, didn't feel like doing that. Maybe it's because I'm getting close to my period and my mental health's just in the ground at the moment, I don't know. But if you've been on my channel for a while, you know, let me adjust my chair, hang on. If you've been on my channel for a while, you know that I have been a member of the Conservative Party in the UK for almost 6 years now. I'm in my fifth year of membership. I started that in the October of 2019. 2019 was kind of the year that I got into politics in general, and I found that the Conservatives at the time was where I found my home, where I found my leanings. At that time it was Boris Johnson, as I'm sure you all know. It was kind of just as he'd got in, and it was all very much get Brexit done, rebuild the country, you know, HS2, the police and NHS, let's recruit how many thousands it was, and then like the 40 new hospitals and all the statistics that I'm sure we all remember, right? And I've made videos before, kind of. I think my first ever video that I uploaded onto this channel was kind of how I got into politics, and I kind of outlined how I got into politics basically, and did like my whole story and everything. If you want to watch that, feel free. But over the years, you know, I've gone to 4 different party conferences, starting it in 2021, and then most recently in October, well, the last week of September, and then going into October of last year in Birmingham. And that conference specifically was such a turning point, as I'm sure we can all imagine, because of what happened with the general election. And there's been a great shift in how people view traditions when it comes to politics and when it comes to just society as a whole. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about in this video, because it's been something, as I say, that's been on my mind of like, why do I feel this way about this certain thing, and why do I feel this way about like being a Tory and still being a Tory, and kind of the way that I feel about that. So yeah, regardless of whether or not you are a Conservative member, have been in the past, or have voted Conservative or anything like that, I don't know. I just feel like this is a general discussion, taking my Tory membership kind of out of it for a second, and we'll get into why in a second. But yeah, I don't know, it was just something that I wanted to talk about because I felt like it was an interesting topic for this channel. So yeah, what changed after Birmingham? The main thing that changed was the consensus around where we stood as a party, and I feel like I wanted to make a video about this after I came back from conference, but I didn't, because I had a lot of like stuff to do with my old job, and my mental health was just not very good. I was in kind of a toxic work environment, and it was killing off my mental health and stress and everything, so I didn't end up making it. But what the main theme of party conference that year was the leadership elections, obviously, because with that was what was ongoing. And me and my friend specifically that I spent a lot of the time with at conference with were saying that if Kemi Badenoch became leader, that we would move to reform, because we just didn't feel like she represented what the Tories should represent, which again is a thing that's been talked about with the past kind of few leaders that we've had over the past couple of years, kind of since Boris really. But this time was a bit different. Now, I've said on this channel before that I don't trust Reform UK. I still don't, as much as I think they are representing sort of the old traditional conservative values a little bit. It is still obviously tied in with what's going on at the moment in current affairs, and the way that they've handled, say with the Ben Habib scandal and everything, that wasn't even really a scandal, they just removed him from the party, it was the scandal they made. And I've said this before, I didn't like how they handled that. I believe that Nigel Farage getting back into politics, it was not, at the time when he did, we were all, yay Nigel, but then my opinion is, as the months have gone on, it's very much a publicity stunt. As we know, he's not really been attending Parliament, and has not really been doing an awful lot except from what he was already doing, which is a lot of good talk, and not a lot. I mean, obviously they don't have that much influence because they don't have that many people in Parliament, but he just, I don't know, there's just something about it that seems fishy. And obviously more recently they've been coming out and hailing the fact that they're leading in the polls and they've got more members than the Conservative Party, which, yes, okay, is an achievement, and we've talked about that on the channel before, in that yes, that is an achievement that can be hailed as, you know, yippee, well done you, I guess. But how they got there is something that, again, is tying into what I've been thinking about with traditions and what we know as sort of the British societal kind of traditions when it comes to politics, and how that's dying as we become more divided. And going back to conference as well, at the time of conference I was very much like, yeah, if she gets in then I'll jump to Reform UK, but that was before all the Ben Habib stuff came out and kind of them stopped being like a limited company and like actually became a party. Don't actually know how much that's progressed, but yeah, it was a very strange time, and unfortunately I said that, and I still say, that the whole like transphobic narrative that is running throughout the Conservative Party is one of the main reasons why Kemi got in, and not a lot else. She wasn't really voted in on a lot of other policies because she didn't have any other policies. She just had that, and unfortunately with the amount of TERFs that run rampant throughout the Conservative Party, that was a big leverage for her, and I do believe that's one of the main reasons why she got in. And since conference, and with the statistics coming out about reform, and when them doing like those conferences up and down the UK, a lot of people I know have jumped and have gone to reform, and I feel like a lot of the Conservative Party activists that I was involved with have gone quite quiet, even locally. I mean, there are still local, if you guys don't know, I have been known to help out with the Bolton Conservatives, because that's where I went to university, and I've just kind of kept on because I've met some of them at party conference a couple of years ago, and I've just kind of stayed in contact. And there are some campaigns still going on with like the odd by-election or whatever, you know, and kind of keeping the beacon of hope like glimmering a little bit. But on the whole, it's all kind of died off a little bit. And most recently, in the past couple of days, that friend that I mentioned that I spent a lot of time at conference with, he is a councillor, and there's apparently a sort of campaign running through the other councillors in his area to jump to reform, and they've included him in it. Now, that was kind of the turning point for me, because I was like, okay, something's like, something is definitely up. And not only that, like, there was another person I was messaging, I think I'd posted something on my story to do with the podcast, I think, and they'd replied and were basically like, not seriously, but like making fun of me for kind of supporting the Tories and kind of saying something against reform. And this was something I knew he was a former Young Conservative. And it just had me thinking, because to me, especially when I first started the Conservatives, it was very much the traditional party, and we know that this party's been going on for years and years and years and years. It is very established and has a great history and a great legacy. And a lot of like left-wing parties and things have come up a bit more recently, like they weren't founded kind of as long ago. As I say, I am a big believer in like free market capitalism and, you know, free speech, free markets, free people, all that stuff. You know, I do hard champion that, and that to me is traditional, is the traditions and the values that we should be upholding as a British society, and we're not. And the Conservatives were meant to be the party who were championing that, and they haven't been in the past few years, but it's been a slow burn and has now sort of reached a peak. And this is the thing with reform, is that a lot of people will be seeing reform as the new party of tradition. And unfortunately, I just don't see that, because it's all about division. It's not about unity. That was meant to be the Conservatives, you know. Technically, we are the Conservative and Unionist party, and that doesn't mean like the trade unions. That means like unity, right? It's a weird time. And the reason why I bring this up is because I am torn, seriously torn, especially with my councillor friends potentially moving to reform. I am seriously torn as to whether or not to attend party conference this year. I mean, I've got another couple of months to decide, because tickets don't go on sale till like April, and I might have reasons to be there anyway. Like, it's a big, as I talked about in my last episode, it's a big goal of mine to get on GB News. And like be a political commentator kind of on there. As much as people might not always agree with GB News and still kind of call it the mainstream media, I still think it's a really cool thing. It's been a goal of mine for years now to get on it, and they're always at party conference, and it is something that kind of I want to be there kind of for press reasons. The reason I stayed, and I think that I've talked about this before as well, but like the reason I've stayed for this long, like for the past couple of years, is because of my social life. A lot of my friends I've met through being a Conservative and through activism, like the Bolton side, or through party conference. So that's another reason why, because it's like the big social event of the year, and I do genuinely really enjoy going. And last year's was good. It was a bit dull, but the fact that I was able to combine it with a trip to London was great, and I really enjoyed myself, especially, as I say, with my last job not being the best environment. It was a really nice break, and, you know, I saw some shows in London, and it was just a great time. But I am genuinely considering hanging up my membership, because I'm still not entirely convinced about Kemi. I mean, I know obviously with the shadow cabinet at the moment we can't do a lot, but we can do something, and she's very good at the talk, but not very good at the action, which I've said countless times on this channel now, but it's true. And yeah, I don't know. But I want to know what you guys think about where you think the traditions lie in this country, and why you might agree with me that I think that those traditions are dying as we allow ourselves to be more divided to these parties that I just don't think really have our best intentions at heart. And I don't know, as much as we like to talk about current affairs and what XYZ person's saying, fundamentally underneath that I feel like there's something else that's crumbling, and I just feel like it's a lot deeper. This might be all kind of doom and gloom. Like, the whole point of this channel is trying to make politics more lighthearted, and I feel like I'm not doing that today. But yeah, I don't know. Just something that's been on my mind. But I want to know what you guys think. So I think I'm gonna tie this up. And I will talk to you guys in my next video, which hopefully will be a little bit more lighthearted. We'll see. Probably gonna make my next podcast episode about Trump, because he's done an awful lot of stuff, and kind of what he's been doing on his first kind of weeks in office. But yeah, just something to think about. what's your opinion on the Tories, what's your opinion on Reform UK, what's your opinion on the country as a whole and where society's going in terms of our beliefs and how divided we're becoming because of politics and dying parties like the Tories. So, yeah. Hope you guys are having a good day, good week, whatever, and I will see you guys in my next one.